Hello and welcome to my channel The Lab Rats. So we are doing a developmental biology lecture series and the topic is limb development in tetrapods. So we are doing the third part of this lecture series, specification of tetrapod limb. First part was a introductory video. In second part we discussed about AER development and development of proximal to distal axis. Here we are going to discuss about the factors that are responsible for specification of limb, that is the factors that decide whether the limb is going to be a forelimb or hind limb. Those who are doing this topic for the first time, I suggest you to follow the lecture series serially. That is, you must do first two parts of this lecture series and then come to the third part. The link for the previous videos are flashing on the upper right corner of the video. Also, you will find the link in the description box. So let's begin with today's lecture. So far we know that lateral plate mesenchymal cells secrete FGF10 molecule. This FGF10 molecule helps in initiation of limb forming interaction between mesoderm and ectoderm. That is, it helps in initiating certain signaling that plays a role in interaction between mesoderm and ectoderm, and this interaction helps in formation of limb. Now, we also discussed about function of AER and progress zone in limb formation, and for that we discussed this 5 set of experiments. In 4 set of experiments, we got to know that the interaction between AER and progress zone, that is AER and progress zone or the distal mesenchyma, is very important for the limb formation, and this mesenchyma should be a limb mesenchyma, and that non-limb mesenchyma cannot lead to limb formation. In the fifth part of the experiment, we had to discuss that we know that AER helps in secreting FGF8 molecule. This FGF8 molecule induces lateral plate mesenchymal cells to secrete FGF10 molecule, and this FGF10 molecule helps in continuous proliferation of lateral plate mesenchymal cell and then development of limb bud. Okay, so we had to see whether AER's function is to only produce FGF8 molecule or are there any other factors released by AER. So to prove that, this fifth set of experiment was performed in which AER was removed from the limb bud and on the place of AER FGF bead was inserted. Okay, and the result was a normal limb was formed. So it was proved that yes, the AER's main function in limb development is production of FGF8 molecule. Now the next question was, what are the different factors that helps in specification of limb? That is, what are the factors that decide whether forelimb will be formed or hind limb will be formed? And this question started to rise after early limb induction experiments. So what happened during early limb induction experiments are, suppose this is a body trunk and this is the anterior end of the trunk, and this is the posterior end. So people knew that FGF bead has capability to perform the function of AER and help in proper growth of limb. So they use these beads for early induction of limb. Okay, so suppose this is the region where forelimb will be formed and this is the region where hind limb will be formed. So they started inducing the limb early in these places. So they inserted FGF beads in forelimb area, prospective hind limb area, and regions in between these limb buds. Okay. It was found that FGF was capable of early limb induction, but in all these cases, different types of limb were formed. That is, here forelimb was formed, here hind limb was formed, and in between these regions, some chimeric structures were formed. So it was proved that yes, AER helps in development of limb, but it does not specify whether the forelimb will be formed or hind limb will be formed. In further experiments, it was found that the gene which was responsible for specification of limb was TBX gene, and this gene is secreted in lateral plate mesoderm. Now these lateral plate mesoderm helps in formation of lateral plate mesenchymal cells, which are important for limb bud formation. So now it must be clear to you why only limb mesenchyma helps in limb formation and not non-limb mesenchyma. Factors that are specific for limb formation are found in the limb mesenchyma only. So this is to compare the limbs that are formed in normal condition and those that are formed by FGF induction. Okay, so in normal cases, from the forelimb regions, forelimb buds are formed and then wings, that is forelimb is formed, because these experiments are done in chick. So in case of forelimb, wing developed. In hind limb regions, hind limb buds formed and then legs were developed. Now in case of FGF induction, when FGF beads were inserted in prospective forelimb bud area, forelimb bud were formed and then wings were formed. In prospective hind limb regions, when FGF beads were inserted, hind limb bud formed and then legs were formed. Okay, so these two situations are similar to those in normal condition. The difference was found when these beads were inserted in between these two limb bud forming areas. Okay, So in these conditions, chimeric structures were formed. So basically, if you see this figure, and if you try to divide it into two halves, so one half of the limb was like wing and the other half was having the characteristics of leg. Okay, so the in chimeric limb, the one half which is towards the anterior end or towards the forelimb has the characteristics of forelimb, and the other half which is towards the posterior end of the body trunk and towards the hind limb has the features of hind limb. So let's draw this three condition. Suppose this is the body trunk and this is the anterior end and this is the posterior end. Now in further cases, what was seen that the closer the position of FGF beads were to the forelimb field, the more the limbs were like forelimb. That is, suppose this is the closest one towards the forelimb bud. Okay, so the limb that was formed from this limb, this FGF induction, was having more wing-like properties in comparison to the FGF induced limb, which was far away from the forelimb bud. Okay, similarly in case of hind limb also, suppose these are the three buds. So the limb which was formed from this bud, which is closest to the hind limb bud, was having more leg-like properties in comparison to the FGF-induced limb, which is far from the hind limb bud. Okay, so it was concluded that it might be possible that the factor which is responsible for the specification of limb will be having more concentration in these two limb bud areas. And in further experiments, these factors were identified as TBX5 gene in forelimb field and TBX4 gene in hind limb field. So basically what happens is that the lateral plate mesoderms in the anterior portion of the body leads to secretion of TBX5 gene, and the concentration of TBX5 gene is highest in the forelimb field, and as we move away from the forelimb field, these proteins diffuses. That is why the FGF induced limbs that are away from the forelimb field has less character like forelimb. Okay, similarly in case of TBX5, they are expressed in the lateral plate mesoderms of posterior region. Okay, and the concentration of TBX4 is highest in the hind limb region. Okay, and as we move away from the hind limb field, this protein diffuses, and so the limb that are induced by FGF beads away from the hind limb field loses their hind limb properties. Now let's talk about limb bud initiation. You do not need to be confused. While drawing the signaling pathway, I already told you that it was just a basic frame, and that as we move forward in this series, more and more signaling molecule will keep on adding to that pathway. Okay, so this is a signaling for limb bud initiation in chick, mouse and fish in their forelimb, and this is the hind limb bud initiation in case of chick and in case of mouse. So if you see these both signalings, the major difference that you will see is of retinoic acid. We already discussed this figure in our previous video, where we saw that the concentration gradient of retinoic acid and FGF8 decides whether the proximal bone type or distal bone type will be developed. That is, the development of all these three types of bones, stylopod, zygopod and orthopod, depends on the concentration gradient of retinoic acid and FGF8, and this gradient is initially stabilized by or established by retinoic acid, which is a transcriptional inhibitor of FGF8. Okay, now the other function that retinoic acid performs is it helps in expression of TBX5 gene. TBX5 gene is responsible for specification of forelimb. So what are the function of this TBX5 gene apart from providing specification? It helps in EMT. What is EMT? It helps in epithelial to mesenchymal transformation, and we know that how much mesenchymal cells are important for limb bud development. Okay, so TBX5's function is EMT, and the other function is it helps in expression of WNT2B molecule. So if you remember this signaling pathway, here we discussed that when lateral plate mesenchymal cells releases FGF10 molecule in limb bud, this FGF10 molecule is stabilized by WNT2B molecule in forelimb area and by WNT8C molecule in hind limb area. Okay, so in forelimb this is WNT2B and in hind limb this is WNT8C in case of chick. Okay, so the function of WNT2B is to stabilize FGF10. Now what is the function of FGF10? This FGF10 molecule with the help of WNT3A molecule helps in expression of FGF8 molecule. So let's see here. This FGF10 molecule is inducing the ectoderm and helping the AER to form FGF8 molecules. So indirectly it is helping in expression of FGF8 molecule, and this induction is done by a Wnt beta catenin pathway, and the WNT molecule which is involved here is WNT3A in case of chick. Okay, so with the help of WNT3A molecule, Wnt beta catenin pathway, FGF10 molecule helps in expression of FGF8. Now this FGF8 molecule, by a positive feedback mechanism, again induces the lateral plate mesenchymal cells to produce more and more FGF10 molecule. Here you can see that with a positive feedback loop, this FGF8 is helping expression of FGF10 molecule. What is the function of this FGF10 molecule? So this FGF10 molecule helps in continuous proliferation of lateral plate mesenchymal cells. Okay, continuous proliferation of lateral plate mesenchymal cells. So we know that retinoic acid helps in expression of TBX5 gene, but the molecule which is involved in expression of TBX4 and PITX1 in chick hind limb is still unknown. Also the molecule which is involved here in case of mouse is also unknown. So here you can say that this Wnt2B molecule is being expressed with the help of TBX5 gene. Okay, and this TBX5 gene is being expressed with the help of retinoic acid. Overall, if you see, then a specification of forelimb is dependent on TBX5, and for the specification of hind limb, TBX4 gene is responsible. Recently, two more genes has been identified, which are ILET1 and PITX1. So let's see their function one by one. In case of loss of TBX5 gene, in chick, mice and fish, in all these three organisms, forelimb does not form. In case of TBX4 gene, this is little bit different. That is, the loss of function of TBX4 gene has different effect in different organism. So in case of chick, there will be no hind limb. But in case of mice, there will be normal initial patterning of the hind limb, but there will be premature arrest of the limb development. Okay, so before the limb develops completely, there will be arrest of the development, and hence malformed limb will be formed. Okay. Now the third one is PITX1 gene. Its function is to stimulate hind limb genes, which are HOX10 and TBX4. And in case of PITX1 null mice, it shows malformed hind limb structure. So basically, if you see PITX1 gene, we know that it is responsible for TBX4 gene expression. Now in PITX1 null mice, where PITX1 expression is not taking place, PITX1 protein is not being formed. Okay, here TBX4 will not form. Okay, and we have already discussed that in case of mice, when TBX4 gene is lost, there will be initial patterning but premature arrest, that is malformed hind limb will be there. So this is why in PITX1 null mice, malformed hind limb structures are formed. The last one is ILET1. So ILET1 expression begins in hind limb field even before the hind limb bud is formed, or even before the FGF10 expression starts. In case of loss of ILET1 gene, there will be no hind limb formation. So you see, this ILET1 gene might be important for limb bud formation. That is why in its absence, hind limb is not being formed. Now if you try to conclude this TBX5 gene is important for initiation and specification. Okay, so it is important for initiation of limb bud as well as specification of the limb. In case of hind limb, this TBX4 and ILET1 is important for initiation, and PITX1 is important for patterning. Okay, so this was all about specification of tetrapod limb. Thank you so much for watching the video. If this was useful for you, please like and share it, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon for recent updates. You can post all your video related queries in the comment section, and for your queries and recent updates, you can also follow us on the Facebook page. The link for the page is in the description box. So see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning and keep motivating.